Greetings, everybody. My name is Richard Laity, sitting here in southern Thailand amongst the rubber growers. I'm happy to be facilitating this webinar that should go for about 75 minutes. And we're learning from 4 countries, and we're learning from the big picture right to the ground. And back again many times to think about how do we choose the right pathway for certification, what are the certification structures at work. And so the very simple agenda is we're going to have Dr. Big looking at Vietnam and case studies for the 2 PEFC certified entities. Then we're going to look at Germany, PEFC Germany. There's Dirk, we will spend 15 minutes. Then at Finland at the high level by Mr. Tattoo, and then at twinning, and you will find out what twinning means later on. But it's a sort of thing that we like to support as we've done as in this webinar series, and then we can answer questions in the chat box, and if we have some interesting ones, we'll leave them for plenary if we have time. So just a quick recap, we're talking about the group forest management requirements. It's a standalone document, but it only works when you have a SFM standard. It's a new standard. Hi.
Would you like to share screen or?
Well, if I haven't shared screen, then I should definitely share screen. So that would make it much more enjoyable for everybody instead of just looking at me. All right. So, yeah, we just talked about the pathways and the agenda. I talked you through already. You see there. Now what I'm up to is to give you a quick overview of PEFC group certification. We have more than 400 groups within our 49 members. Each national member is updating their system with these new versions, the 2018. And point 4 is more about group certification dialogue that we've been having, which is how we build capacity. We bring people from the global north and south together to look at what are the similar challenges and solutions. So we did Spain, Finland, and we're very happy to have Dirk, who hosted us in Germany in 2019. And the last speaker will be Rono, talking about twinning. He hosted us in Finland in 2017. So we're talking about group certification, and it can be applied either with these different terminologies. They can be used sort of interchangeably, but there still needs to be group certification mechanisms to meet this global benchmark. Just to give you an idea of what we've already done actually, and what we've aimed to achieve in making forest certification accessible to the smallholders, and share information and provide tools for. We talked about in the box here, you see we started with a walk through the group forest management standard, and we looked at how could an uncertified group in Laos get ready for certification for meeting the requirements. And then last Wednesday we had a good discussion between Thailand, looking at case studies from Thailand and an analysis of what structures are best for group certification, as well as Thailand and Spain have building their relationship to learn from each other. And Spain also shared in webinar number 2 about how a mature PEFC member can share with an emerging member, like Spain, and Thailand was number 2. So for today, number 3, we're saying what are the pathways forward, and we're trying to do 4 presenters and three countries. So Dr. Beek, who I actually haven't, I just see admitting now. Dr. Beek is the first speaker I just saw him come into the participants list. And so Dr. Bick will be our first speaker. And so you are in the last of 3 webinars, and you're going to look at from Dr. Bick, if he's online already. And thank you for the round of applause. Dr. Bick, if you're online already, that would be good.
Okay.
And you could share your screen. And then we're going to learn from Vietnam first. And then we can see, okay, Vietnam's been trying lots of things. Then let's see what worked for Finland and Germany. And then how could we scale things up in Vietnam? I'll stop sharing my screen and hand over to you, Dr. Bick. Thank you. And now, Dr. Bick, we try and stick to 20 minutes, please.
Okay. Yes, so can you hear me well?
Fairly well, yes.
Okay, yep. So hello everyone. My name is Nguyễn Văn Bích, and I'm now working for Vietnam Forest Certification Scheme. And in this presentation, I would like to introduce about small group forest certification in Vietnam and one of the pilot model of the PEFC and VFCS certification. So a brief information about the project introduction. The title is Smallholder Group Forest Certification in Vietnam, pilot model for PEFC and VFCS group certification in 2 provinces named Yên Bái in the north and Quảng Trị province in the center of Vietnam. And these 2 provinces is like a center of the supply timber supply area in Vietnam. And the project is funded by program of science and technology for rural renovation during 2016 and to 2020. So the objective of this project is to identify the difficulties and challenges of smallholder group certification and to develop the guideline for implementation of smallholder group certification in Vietnam. And the second is to develop 2 pilot models, as I mentioned, in Yên Bái and Quảng Trị, and to recommend the suitable linking between smallholder for group certification. And in this presentation, so the first thing I will brief information about the smallholder forest owner in Vietnam and the difficulty and challenge to gain suitable forest management standards and current situation of small group certification in Vietnam, as well as I will introduce about the project result. So the first thing is about smallholder forest owner in Vietnam. So in the scale, the smallholder forest owner is managing about 1.5 million household with the 2 million hectare of the commercial forest plantation in Vietnam, and average about 1 to 2 hectares per household, so it's very small. And plantation forest management is the major planting species is Acacia and eucalyptus, and cutting rotation is about 4 to 7 years. So if you are in Europe, you will surprise why people can harvest their plantation at 4 years old, but it's happened with the existing species like Acacia in Vietnam. And for the MAIs, it range from 15 to 20 cubic meter per hectare per year. And income for forest owner is about 8 to 12 million VND per hectare. So it's about like 350 to 450 US dollar per hectare per year, and 20 million cubic meter per year in whole country. So approximately 70% wood chip and 30% is fenner and small saw log timber. What is difficulties to join suitable forest management by small holder in Vietnam? The first thing is like small scale and very fragment, and also about the which awareness and compliance with the suitable forest management regulation. Also about the technical and financial difficulty of the smallhold and risk of natural disaster and disease, pest and disease is one also the big problem in the in the future. And degradation of the land, environmental and ecology, difficulty to access support, science and technology of the smallholder, especially in the high quality of seedlings, and difficulty to access to credit loans and state market. So due to the difficulties, so Vietnamese government as well as the research institutes are think about how to linking smallholders at group forest certification is an important solution. So the current situation of smallholder group certification in Vietnam, so you can see we have both FSC and PFC. We have VFC and PFC, and for the FSC is start to into Vietnam, introduced to Vietnam in 2006. However, VFCS is start in 2019, so about like 12 years after. And the total error certified by both scheme is about this data is updated in 2021, and it's about like 285,000 hectare. And for the group, total is 25 group of the forest certification, and the remain is enterprise. So the data update for VFC at PFC certified error in 2022 is 103,000 hectares. So almost the PFC, VFC at PFC are account for 1/3 of the certified error in Vietnam. Common linking with between the smallholder in Vietnam. So we divide it into two forms. The first is horizontal link, that is a link among households. So they have a corrective alliance or clerk, something like they are combined household together. And vertical link is between the household and enterprise. So it means that between the household, they make a contract with the enterprise or like timber buyer, for example. That is a form of linking with. And the common group management structure in Vietnam. So we have three types of the common group management structure. The first you can see in the left hand side is enterprise. So in this model, enterprise will become group entity, and under the group entity, they establish a district management board. So it's that is based on the local authority structure. So in the district level and commune level and village level, and then underneath of that is a household. So in this structure, enterprise is group entity. Some enterprise may involve in management activity, some may not. But the district management board may be involved in management activity. The second in the middle is forest owner association. So in this type model, enterprise not inside of the group, but they are like the connection, like a contractor of the group to purchase the timber. However, in the Forest Owners Association is become group entity, and underneath of that they have a sub association, and underneath of that is manage member or household. In this model, local forest ranger or government agency is agency supporting actor to support the group. The third one in the left hand side is a similar, but they follow the cooperative alliance or cooperative union. So it is a little bit different with the forest association based on the law. So in the Vietnamese law, they have a law for forest for the association and law for cooperative alliance. So for the association, the structure is just for supporting members to join certification, but the association is not. Association is like one type of like non-profit organization, so they will not do any processing, or they not into do any like business in the group. But for the cooperative alliance or unions is different because they are like economic. They also comply with enterprise law and cooperative law. So their activity is more active, and they can support and they can have engage some activity like processing. And the local forest ranger and government agency also is supporter to the group. So basically, there are three types of group model in Vietnam currently. So what is the question is, what is a good linking with? So the first is a linking form, like page potential in the maintenance and expansion of the group. And the second, business linking with and available resource and management structure. And for the group management structure, so it's like group entity or proactive and independent in the internal monitoring is and evaluation is very important for the maintenance of the forest certification, and also proactive in improving and quality management system. So basically, for a suitable and also like to maintain the forest certification, it needs a strong structure and an internal monitoring effectively. So it will lead to the compliance with the standard. So I will pass it slide because it's more detailed in each type group. So I'm moving to show you about the development of pilots model that our project have established. So the project is established in two provinces, one in the north of Vietnam, and the second is in the Quảng Trị province in the center. The brief information about two provinces you can see in the slide. So plantation area, and the most important here in this group, we have average area of the households in Yên Bái is about 1.5 hectare per household, and in Quảng Trị a little bit smaller, like just 0.9, so almost 1 hectare per household. And major planting species is Acacia, Cinnamomum, Pine, and Styrax tonkinensis in Yên Bái province. And for Quảng Trị, mostly Acacia, Pine, and rubber. The common non-conformity issue against the FM standards of the 2000 of the VFCS standards is that legal land use right. So it means that the status of the land use right is not clear, or maybe still have a conflict of land use in the site in the real situation. And the next is low productivity, like uncontrolled seedling, poor site management, pest and disease, and typhoon. Also, typhoon is like one challenging in the central of Vietnam. And work safety PPE is another difficulty challenging for the non-conformity with the standard. And water and soil protection or environmental protection or protecting of the environmental value. So,
Mr. Dr. Big, you have 5 minutes left, so
okay,
you're going
yeah.
well. Cheers.
Yeah. So development of pilot model. So we follow the structure, the guideline of the and standard of the Vietnamese for Vietnam Forest Certification Scheme. So producer, the first thing is to establish the group certification. So the first we need to form the group. So we decide to use the cooperative or cooperation group. The reason is that, as I mentioned earlier, this model is more suitable, and the cooperative also can do in business inside of the group, so it can support for group member more effectively. And the second step is capacity building. So we set up group, and then we set up group management and training in the sustainable forest management and training in the background of the certification. The next step, we establish the sustainable forest management implementation in the site. So it means that in the second, the first is set up the group, second is building capacity, and the next one is implementation of the, including the development of sustainable forest management plan and implementation of the sustainable forest management plan. The last state is certification. So we training how to conduct the internal audit for the group and contact CB for contact CB for contract in the certification, and mean audit and corrective action to be established for receive the certification. And also a lot of the technical guidelines for and training for group members, as well as group entity and group management members. And we can see that is the model of the structure. So we have corrective. We have corrective is a group entity, and we also the group contract with the enterprise for
Bila dia explain, nak cakap, this is not even.
Yeah, and we have this is some photo of our activity in this project. Yeah, so we have training, we have a few observation, and we this is the audit, and the audit is done by GFA, is one of the Germany certification body. And yeah, so the advantage and limitation of and solution. So we have a thing that it is difficult to link small household together into the group because of some difficulty like the land use status, or like the knowledge of the group household. They does not want to form in the group, something like that. And solution is that we need to mobilization available resource. For example, current existing of the cooperative alliance, agriculture cooperative, farmer acceleration, for example. So we can combine the group small households into existing of the cooperative alliance to speed up the group management structure. And also we need some support like technical application. For example, in Vietnam, we have IT Wood. It can be a platform to connect smallholder, and transparency system, like they use QR code to track their plantation, and online training, nursery information system, and market connection, for example. So that is the solution to we think at the moment to speed up the forest group forest certification for small household in Vietnam. So that is all my presentation today. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Beat. So if you stop sharing your screen, I'd ask Dirk to prepare. I think you finished on about the platform with an ITC solution to help reduce the barriers. So I think this is similar to what we talked about in the last two webinars. We started first with just the Excel spreadsheet to be like a way to make the management plans very simple at the site level from the landscape level, but also Anna from PEFC Spain talked about how they have all of the certified forest owners in one platform and that they're going to upgrade, and then the South Africans offered to share. So maybe we will have another session on platforms. We'll be interested to hear more about your IT wood. We take the questions at the end, and we'll move through to Dirk. Can you share your screen, or please stop sharing? Okay, we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for inviting me, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dirk, General Secretary from PEFC Germany, and I would like to give you some ideas about how regional certification is working in Germany. Regional means it's a group certification on the level of provinces or of Bundesländer. I started with PEFC Germany 22 years ago. I established the secretariat here in Stuttgart, and maybe we can discuss the advantages and also disadvantages of our model in the end, comparing maybe also with the model of the Finnish colleagues. To get an idea about Germany and what's the significance of forests in Germany, you can see 1/3 of our land is covered with forests. These are all semi-natural forests. We have no primary forest, but we have also not a single hectare, except for Christmas trees maybe, which are intensively managed plantations. You can see the distribution of the 11.4 million hectares. You see the middle label mountains in the center of Germany, and not so many forests in the northern and eastern part. In comparison to Vietnam, we are quite similar with the number of forest owners. I learned that Vietnam has that Vietnam has 1.5 million. We have 1.8 million forest owners, and the average size is a bit bigger than Vietnam. It's about 3 hectares per private forest owner. So also a very small-scaled ownership. Here another official statistics. You can see 4 plus 29%, so 33% are state forests, 19% are communal forests, and almost half, 48%, are private forests. And you can see here that we have a very a lot of forests just smaller than 20 hectares. So we had to find the solution, like the Vietnamese and the Finnish and the French and the Austrians, and we chose regional, that means a group certification. But let's start just to give you an idea how the system looks like. We have on national level, like every association, we have a general assembly, which is electing our board of directors, called German Forest Certification Council, who is setting the standards, the forest management standard, the group certification standard. That's all this German Forest Certification Council. This council is commissioning for running the business, the PEFC secretariat, and these are the guys who are working here. In our office, we have in the top line, we have 3 foresters just dealing with the certification issues, chain of custody, forest management, and we have 2 communication and marketing experts which are dealing with PR, with marketing communication, which is also very important in German, as you know, as a strong market with a lot of chain of custody certificates. Comparison to other PEFC countries, we have more than 2,000 chain of custody certificates. We will talk today within the next 10 minutes about this regional level green. I will go into details later, but I do not want to miss this red part. We have, of course, third-party certification bodies who are certifying these regional working groups. I saw TATU in Finland as calling them regional committees. So these are the certificate holders, and they are certified by certification bodies like the GFA or TÜV or other notified certification bodies. We have a German accreditation bodies, and you know this is the requirement from PEFC International that these certification bodies are accredited by official accreditation body. Just to give you an idea, auditing costs about 1,000 to 1,200 euros per day. If you are summing up the amount of costs which are generated during 1 year in Germany for these external third-party certification, it's about €500,000 per year for external third-party certification. Okay, let's look at the regional level. At the regional certification, we have this regional working group as certificate holders. It's a registered association, and they are collecting the self-commitments from the participating forest owners, or which is quite a large amount of forest owners are organized in associations, in forestry associations. And these are also participants in regional certification. So they are collecting the self-commitments, and they are also in charge of doing the internal monitoring. Let's look at this regional working group. The main task is to develop, to elaborate, to produce a regional forest report. And as these small forest holdings of in average 3 hectares cannot have a management plan like a forest holding with more than 1,000 hectares, this is the compendium. This is the report which is replacing the reports, the management plans on individual levels. So here at the regional forest report, the regional working groups are collecting the data, are setting targets, are having the plan of which measures to take within the next 10 years. And if this is, and sorry for these old photos, but you see my hair color was different at that time, but this was the first accredited certificate for the regional working group in Bavaria. And you can see here there's a minister, and they're proud of getting a certification for their forest in Bavaria. And the certification bodies at that time was the DQS. Let's look at the participants level. As I said, there could be individual participants, state communal forests, big private forests, but a lot of small private forest holdings or households are members in forestry associations. And I take an example and a picture from 2007. I said, sorry for the old pictures, but this was the General Assembly in Munich of PEFC at that time. And we made an excursion, a field trip to the Alps, and we met Anton Burkhardt, managing director of the forestry associations of Oberammergau. I always take this example also in other presentations, because in Oberammergau, maybe one or the other of you know, There are famous passion plays every 10 years. The actors in these passion plays are the citizens of the town of Oberammergau, and they have millions of visitors from all over the world. And Anton Burkhardt was playing Jesus at that time. And so I think we cannot find a more credible representative of regional certification. So I always take this example. The forest area of this forestry association is 1,088 hectares. So 180 members means an average size of 6 hectares. Is more than the average in Germany, as you learned. And for the calculation I will do later, I take the minimum auditing costs of 1,000 euros, and I just calculate then 4 hours auditing time per member, if you take preparatory time into account. You see, this is the contract or the voluntary self-commitment on the left of this forestry association, saying, okay, I want to participate in PEFC certification. I am willing to manage the forests according to your standards, and I will be letting the auditors into our forests. We have a fixed rate of 18 cents, and maybe at the end I can tell you about the big advantages of our model. 18 cents, and then he gets, or the association gets a confirmation of participation here at the right, saying you can sell your timber as PEFC certified. What was new concerning that we have a 20-year-old system? What was new starting in 2015 is also the requirement from PEFC International to have an internal monitoring. So we established a group of so-called regional assistants. You see, we have 13 regions, but some regions are too small to get a regional systems or to feed a regional assistant. So we clustered, for example, the Northeast, 3 regions together, and we had a regional assistant, which is not only doing the internal audits, but also is doing consulting to the forest owners and also communication and marketing work for PEFC.
Just to let you know, there's a few minutes left.
Yes, thanks. And if I take the costs or the 1,000 euros per hectare, sorry, 1,000 euros per day from a certification body, and for 20 years I'm always hearing the argument, oh, FSC is better because there are annual audits of every household, of every private forest holding, and then I calculate for the Forestry Association of Oberammergau, that means 90,000 euros per year. And even if you make a group model like FSC is doing with once every 5 years, it's 18,000 euros. So no association, no private forest owner is able to earn this money. So comparison to our fee of 18 cents, 200 euros per year, it's tolerable. And so we are quite successful concerning these getting small private forest owners into the certification. What is important or special in Germany is that the fees are not paid from the participant to the regional working group, but we have a contract, or they are paying a fee to the secretariat or to PEFC Germany for the usage of the standard and the logo. And we take from this amount of money, we pay the third-party auditing, we pay the regional assistants, we pay our people, we pay the contribution to PEFC International, we pay marketing and communication. And this is, it's not usual, and it's a bit strange, but we have now a contract with the regional working groups, and we are saying, okay, we are doing we are renting the regional assistants to you, and we are paying the certifications bodies for you. So every euro we are earning in certifications running through Stuttgart and is distributed to the regions again. And this is quite special, and It's good for us because 79% of the forests are PEFC certified. That means 8.7 million hectares managed by 295,000 forest owners are PEFC certified. And if you compare it to our competitor of FSC, I said 8.7 PEFC and only 1.3 FSC. And this is the only reason is that FSC is not able to certify in circumstances, in situations like in Germany with these small-scale forest owners. There are only 21, not 21,000, but 21 private forest owners in the FSC area in Germany, showing that they have no solution for certifying a small-scale private ownership in forestry. I hope I'm in the 15 minutes, Richard, and we will discuss questions later. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dirk, and very impressive to see the scale and the work you've done over the 22 years. And we'll try and answer some questions in the chat. Next, we're going to fly over to Finland, a couple of hours north of Germany, where there's not so many tree species, but there's definitely a lot of trees. And Mr. Tatu, if you could take over and introduce yourself, and I'll let you know when it's a few minutes left.
Excellent, thank you very much. Can you hear and can you also see me?
Yes, yes.
Perfect, and you can see my presentation. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come and speak today. My name is Tatu Liimatainen. I am the National Secretary of PEFC Finland. Unlike Dirk, I have been working here for a little shorter while. I joined the PEFC Finland team in spring 22. My background is in forestry and other kinds of global and EU related matters. We are a 4-person team here in Helsinki, and like you said, Richard, we are in a very forested country. So I'm happy to be talking today about the regional group certification model we have in Finland. And as you can see, there are some similarities as with the German model, but maybe we can find some points for discussion as well. So what I'll be covering in the next 15 minutes is the operating environment in Finland and how we have established our PEFC system here. Then I will say a few words about the regional group certification, and I will then introduce our Association for Sustainable Forestry, which is at the very heart of our regional model. And then I will continue by saying a few words about the participation of the regional system, and ending up with a few points on verification and summarizing the benefits. So I think this should all be done nicely in 15 minutes. But if we kick off with the operating environment, so as you mentioned, Richard, Finland is quite a forested place. So of the land area, 75% is covered by forest, which totals to over 20 million hectares. When you are landing, for example, to Finland with an airplane, you can see also in the south that there are indeed trees everywhere. Not that many species, only 3 main species, but a lot of trees. But as we have a lot of forest, we also have a lot of private forest ownership. So private people own about 60% of the productive forest land. 25% is owned by the government, and just under 10% is owned by companies. And we are just over 5 million people here in Finland, but we have over 600,000 forest owners. So forest ownership is very common in Finland, and the sizes are not that big of the forest holdings, depending how you count the average, but it totals up to around 30 hectares. As we have a lot of forest, we have a lot of forest owners, and then we also have an important industry that is important for the country, and it has around 170 production facilities all around the country. So it is very important also for the rural areas. with the direct employment of over 40,000 people in the country. And Finland also is enjoying of the export benefit of the forest sector, which totals to over 10 billion euros. So forestry is a big thing in Finland. And also PEFC certification is strongly present here in Finland, as over 90% of the forest land area is covered by PEFC certification. But I will continue to our PEFC certification model, how it's been structured. So a bit similar to Germany, we have you can say that we have three main players here in PEFC certification. So we have the PEFC Finland office, which is the shop that I am running. Then we have the independent accredited certification companies that are separate from us. And then we have the certificate holders, which are taking care of the day-to-day implementation of the certificates. And today I will present you one of the main ones of the certificate holders, the National Sustainable Forest Association. So in Finland, certification can be carried out in three ways. Under the PEFC system, we have the regional group certification, which is by far the largest. And then we have other group certification systems and forest owner specific certification. But how have we then set up our regional group certification model? We have at the moment 3 geographical areas. So it's a big country, but we have divided it up to 3 areas. Before we had 5, but now only 3. And in these areas, you have all the main players working together to implement the certification, which includes forest owners, entrepreneurs, companies, etc. And we have seen that by pooling together resources in this kind of regional approach, it saves costs basically, and it's a cost-effective way in a big, sparsely populated country like ours. So next, I would like to present you more the Association for Sustainable Forestry, which is indeed the key player implementing the group certification model in Finland on these 3 geographical areas. So the association was founded in 2015, and it was founded by the Forest Owner Association, the Forest Industries Association, and the Sawmilling Industry Association. So you can see that all the main players have been involved already from the beginning, and other members also include various Forest Service associations, information services or service associations, etc. So the association consists of 2 people. So these 2 people are coordinating the entire Finnish area on those 3 geographical areas. And their offices are located right next door to us here in Helsinki. We have 2 employees, Maria Nyström, who is the executive director, and Kaisa Kettunen, the certification coordinator. And I'm happy to say that both Maria and Kaisa should also be on the line now today here in these presentations. So if you have any very tricky questions, they might be able to answer those. So this association is very, very essential on running the Finnish regional model. So they are representing the members, all the foresters, the association, companies, entrepreneurs, etc., on all these 3 regional areas. They're also maintaining different kind of registers that are publicly available for everybody, and they are providing information on everything related to PEFC certification. Then, as Dirk already mentioned, our regional practical players go by a bit different name. So we call them regional certification committees. So on all these 3 main regional areas, we have regional forest certification committees that are then handling the day-to-day issues of the certification. So we have one for the north, one for the east, one for the west. And in these certification committees, we have as participants the forest owner organizations, the local forest management associations, timber buyers, entrepreneurs, We also have the regional authorities that are responsible for environmental issues. So we are pooling all the players on board in these certification committees, and then they are, for example, monitoring how certification is being complied, or then they are taking up measures on various issues if there is, for example, some kind of non-compliance and corrective measures are needed. But all this is happening in a big country only on 3 major geographical areas. And the regional forest certification committees are a practical tool in that. So now I have said that we have a national system, and then under that we have the association for sustainable forestry coordinating everything. We have the regional committees on the 3 regional geographical areas. But then how do the actual forest owners, how are they able to join the certification system? Like I said, 90% of the Finnish forests are part of the PEFC system. So our idea has been to make it as simple as possible for the forest owner to join certification, PEFC certification. And this way we have offered them 3 ways to join. So they can be directly in touch with the Association for Sustainable Forestry, or they can do it via membership of a regional forest management association, or they can do it through an organization who is representing the forest owner. For example, we have one big national one, MTK, and then we have one Swedish speaking with the abbreviation SLC. So we offer the forest owners different ways to join the system.
Maybe 3 minutes left if it could work.
Thank you. I will speed up a little. And then not only that we want to make it as simple as possible for the forest owner to join and make everything as streamlined as possible, we also want to be as transparent as possible. So the Association for Sustainable Forest Management is managing a national register of everybody, all the forest owners who are participating in the certification. So the information of these forest holdings is publicly available for everybody. And the same applies for the entrepreneurs who are on board in the certification. So us, the PEFC Finland office, we are managing a register on all the entrepreneurs, and we get the information to that register from all the main players, including the association and then the governmental operator as well. So main point, all the information is also publicly available. I will not jump to the standards, but just mention quickly that the annual audits are of course taking place, and the association is playing a key role there as well. And like said before, one of the 3 main players are these independent audit systems that are separate from our system, and they are checking that the certificate criteria are being complied. And also summaries and reports for the sake of transparency are available on the KMY and PEFC websites. On the audits as well, we are able to put down the costs by using internal data gathering as well. So that has helped us to be again more streamlined. So what do we consider as to be the benefits of our system? So we see that the main point is that the PEFC system in Finland is making certification available to small forest owners. So if there were any questions before setting up the system by the forest owners, that how is this going to be affecting them? Is it going to have negative effects on the forest owners? None of these kind of bad visions came true. So now actually PEFC system is an integral part of Finnish forestry. So that has functioned well, and as mentioned, we have a lot of small forest owners in Finland, and we offer a very good pragmatic way for them to join. Also, by pooling together on a geographical level, we are able to achieve cost savings on the administration and maintenance. So our costs are low. We also want to make it, as mentioned earlier, we want to make it as simple as possible for the forest owner to join by providing them different kind of options. And by pooling together resources, we have been able to do this so the forest owner does not have to worry about certification and any of the admin burden. Then also one thing to point out is that the Finnish model is also pooling together all the players in the sector. So it's not just about the forest owners, it's not just about the industry, but everyone is working together to implement the PEFC system in Finland. And with this kind of cooperation, we have been able to do a good job. But I think this was my 15 minutes. Hope I wasn't too much over time. Thank you very much, everybody, and looking forward for the questions.
Great, thank you very much, Tatu. So we'll let the questions roll in while I have to send the apologies of a good friend and a man who you're about to meet on giving a 14 minutes presentation on being part of the certification system inside Finland and making it available to the smallholders, and how forestry really is in the culture of many Finnish people, and then that helps PFC to get people confident in the system from the bottom up, like we just heard from Tatu. And then so I'll just try and share this video and just let me know if you cannot hear it. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this. Go ahead when you're ready.
Yes. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rauno Karppinen, and I'm coming from Finland, from Forest Management Association. So I used to be a managing director of the association. Last year, I pre-retired, but still working in this international project and also with the Savotta. So you can see me in this picture. Back there, the tallest man, biggest man, that's me. So in my presentation, I'm going to tell about finning projects that have been running in central Vietnam, something like already for 10 years. So the idea of the finning is that agriculture and forest experts like me from Finland, we provide face-to-face, peer-to-peer support, advice, and knowledge sharing to the farmers and forest owners. So we have same kind of organizations helping each other. Finland, we have forest owners association, and in Vietnam, there are forest owners cooperatives. So lately, the specific focus of supporting has been the reparation of the forest certification. So FM Savotta is cooperating in central Vietnam, like Quang Tri, Tuat Tien Hue provinces, and our partners are Tuat Tien Hue Cooperative Alliance and Quang Tri Cooperative Alliance. And the latest, the newest project started last year. The new project is taking place in Quang Nai and Phu Yen provinces. And we're still cooperating with the cooperative alliances. So that in each province, there are like 6, 7 pilot cooperatives. So I put here 2 pictures of Vietnam and try to put the twinning in few words. And I think it's like twinning is the is a smile on your Vietnamese friend faces. So during these 10 years in Vietnam has happened very much, a lot. So like 10 years ago, we have pictures like this, but it's amazing how the Vietnamese forestry and knowledge of forestry has grown up and still growing very fast. So about the organizations, first of all, there's AgriCord. It is a global alliance of the agri-agencies, kind of a network of non-governmental organizations. And in Finland, we have FFD, like Food and Forest Agency, and it is established by cooperative Pellervo, called Cooperative Association, and Agriculture Advisory, and then MTK is like a central union of agriculture and forest owners, and that's where I am coming from. So about the FFD, as you see, FFD has things going on, activities going on in mostly in Africa, but also in Latin America, but also like in Asia, Nepal, and in Vietnam. And maybe the main thing that currently there's something like 10 to 12 agriculture and forestry experts from Finland. They are providing peer-to-peer support, face-to-face support, advice, and knowledge sharing. And I'm one of them working in Vietnam. So about the forest management associations. So in Finland, we have over 600,000 forest owners. In Finland, we have 5.5 million people, but we have over 600,000 forest owners. And we have nearly 60 forest management associations. The associations are like local level, working on local level, and we are giving all kind of services, like we call it from seedling to lock, like forest management services, planning, harvesting, timber sales, training, advisory, forest rows, like a full service house, but also the practical organizer of certification. So Forest Management Association Savotta, so we are situated in the middle of Finland. We have nearly 10,000 in the area. We have nearly 10,000 forest owners, and it means like 400,000 hectares. And Savotta is carried out all these services, like seedling to lock, giving advice, what to do with your forest planning, certification, etc. We have 40 officers and 50 forest workers, harvesting machines, and so on. But maybe the main thing, we have a forest managed association fee. It's like a membership fee. It depends how many hectares you have, but it's like 50 to 140 euro. And when you are a member of association, we take care also about the certification. So we have a PEFC group certification. And about what kind of finning activities Savotta is offering. So I have a list here. We share understanding on working methods, like how to grow up seedlings, how to do planting, thinning, clear cutting, that kind of basic things that are normal here in Finland, but the same things happens also in Vietnam. So how we do these activities is one thing is that we have those follow-up visits, twinning exchange visits. So our Vietnamese partners has been here in Finland, and nearly every year I travel to Vietnam, and we visit those cooperatives, our pilot cooperatives. So we also provide services, like there are many nurseries, application also for the smallholders about the price of wood, and one important thing is when something happens in forestry here in Finland, so I can give information to the Vietnamese people. For example, when those drones, flying drones came here, so we talk about it's possible to use them in Vietnam and that kind of things. And then maybe also one important thing is that I know those people and people know me, so we have a kind of a direct relationship between our Vietnamese partners. It means we can send emails, we can use Teams or Zoom, so that like talking nearly every week what's happening and what's going on. And also the certification, as I said, lately we have focused on the certification. So in Vietnam and in Finland, we have the same kind of structures on the ground. So it's so easy to share lessons learned. Forest owners in Vietnam, they have the same problems that they have here in Finland. Certification came in Finland nearly 20 years ago, and I remember how the forest owners were a little bit afraid what's happening and what's going on. So the same thing is happening now in Vietnam. So it's easy to talk about and give advice what's happening. So we are helping smallholders like down to earth. That's how I like to say it. So it's like helping each other when visiting there face to face. And also here's some things that we're doing through our project. We have materials. So we have those demonstration plots, demonstration areas, like thinning areas, training sessions for the capacity building, and also nowadays also about the climate changes, climate risks, mitigating them. So everything is not down to earth. We are also operating with the government agencies and universities. Like Hue University is one of our partner, and also lobbying government agencies to provide extension services. That's also what important thing. Okay, that's about it. And here is good opportunity to thank the international PEFC International for your help. We have a good results and good operation with the PEFC with this certification things. Thank you. And as you see here, some good results. There is good logs coming out from Acacia forest. Thank you. So I'd like to stop with this picture. This is picture from forest field trip about 2017 when the PEFC people were visiting my home and Finland and Israel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rona. And you and I climbing on the poncho there at the field dialogue. We had about 30 people from 10 different countries coming to learn about group certification for the weekend. And I think we will continue this because we had a great experience and we will never forget the hospitality that you and your family put on. So thank you for your presentation, and that's the end.
Thank you, Richard.
So that we've just come from what's happening in Vietnam to what has happened in Germany, what has happened in Finland, and also what have we been doing PEFC in Thailand, in Vietnam to try and help. And it's this twinning, and it's something we can do more of in our PEFC Alliance. Like the twinning we saw between Rono Association, one of the 15 or 20 associations, him as a CEO could work with the head of the cooperative alliances, and they could talk about how to address sustainable forest management issues and the group certification. And so this is now time to answer some questions. There were some very technical questions in there, but I think the fantastic tattoo has addressed the sampling one. So maybe the question may be to both of you, Tattoo and Dirk, sorry, is how do you support the households or the members to join the certificate? So is there any support, or what is the benefit for them?
It was always, of course, now we have people out in the regions and who can also be communicating to forest owners who are not, have not been certified yet. Although in Germany it's now a bit different because 8.7 million hectares, we do not want to have 100%. We are satisfied with this amount. But of course, it was always very difficult to say, okay, do certification, get certified, because you will get more money for your certified timber, because it was FSCs tried it, but it was also not very successful because premium, you could not prove that there was a premium for certified forest, for certified timber. But of course, it was more and more difficult to get market access, and this is, I think, the only argument to get forest owners in a certification, or you get governmental subsidies. And this is the case in Germany. It has been the case 2 years ago. And the government said in the terms of the Corona aid package, forest owners get 100 euros for if they are PEFC certified and 120 euros if they are FSC certified. And so we won 1 million hectares because of this governmental subsidies being on the condition of being certified. FSC won 0 hectares and 0 forest owners, because although they would get 20 euros more, but nobody's trusting FSC, and so we grew a lot, and of course only because of governmental subsidies getting for forest owners on the condition of certification. Thanks.
Okay, and then maybe if Tatu wants to comment back about that, or maybe it's time for Tatu and Dirk to share what you think with your 20 years hindsight or your 2 months of looking with fresh eyes about your systems, about what makes yours or the others strong, and after you've heard from Vietnam, what would you recommend for them to go forward? So maybe that Dirk's ready to go, so go.
Okay, I'm always envious. I made several field trips to Finland, and I'm always astonished and fascinated about the quality of data they have on their forestry, also in small scale forest management. And they have management planning, I think, on 100% of their forest area. And this is totally different in Germany. We have very few data. We have management planning, okay, by PEFC, getting management planning in every forest enterprise bigger than 100 hectares. But this is very, very different in Germany, that forestry has not the relevance in our society like in Finland, and we have not the data quality, so we cannot build upon that. Of course, our advantage is this financing thing, and I can only recommend to every group or every national governing body to think of how much do you get for your associations from the certification. You need some notification fees, or do you have to offer some services that not only the business is between the certificate holders and the certification bodies, but you as group entity, as group representative, or as national governing, if the national governing body has to earn money also from this certification. This is important. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. Thanks, Dirk, that you've got a secure funding based on hectare, and plus you've got your couple of thousand Acacia certificates, so sustainable national certification systems will continue to build the trust there, I'm sure, in Germany. So Tatu, I'm not sure if you'd like to answer any of the questions in there, or otherwise just talk about what would be some lessons learned from your perspective. Here we have people who are wanting to buy products from Vietnam, but the smallholder certification is a big challenge. You can see that the certification's been there for more than 20 years, and I think only that less than 10% of the forests are certified. So I wonder what you would suggest, Tatu, why we have someone who has such a good model.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dirk, for the compliments for the Finnish system. I think what we have been able to establish in Finland is quite a clear system. So, like mentioned, we previously had 5 areas for the regional geographical areas, but we came down to 3. So our main idea has all the time be to pool together the resources and be as efficient as possible. And also that everything, like I mentioned, that this also applies then how we communicate with each other in Finland. So we have everybody on board. We have all the different actors as well. So with this way, we have been able to work on a national and a very large geographical area as well. And this can then pull down the costs, especially for the forest owners. And maybe about the costs, I can also mention that there's some costs for the forest owners, but then also the other operators, the industry and the associations are also chipping in. So there you can also see the good Finnish cooperation as well. And at the moment, we can say that it is functioning well.
Excellent.
So that's my suggestion, that if there are plenty of forest owners and it's very scattered everywhere, that is what we have been able to do is pool everyone together as much as possible and be as efficient as possible during the years. And what we have, for example, with the Association for Sustainable Forest Management, it's only 2 people who are coordinating all the 3 geographical areas, where you have then the geographical committees working, but there's only 2 people coordinating the entire Finnish area. So that has been our way to bring everyone together and then be as efficient as possible.
Great, yeah, and so not only you're bringing public and private sector together in the certificates, but also in the committees and the revision of standards. You work a lot with the academics and the Finnish Forest Centre, for example, that can do landscape level data collection, and that enables you to go right down to the site as well. I think I'm quite jealous of seeing the former chair, vice chair of PEFC. She could just check on her telephone, okay, in this forest, it tells me I need to do thinning and I will make 2,000 euros. But in this forest here, another click of the button, she says, this is where I need to do the weeding. It's going to cost me $1,500. Do I approve or not? And then the Forest Owners Association does it all. So like what Rono talked about, what he's sharing, he's one part of a national approach with national stakeholders, and that has brought the farmers on right from the start through working with the associations and the government. So I think we don't want to go over time too much. I might be a little bit surprised by the lack of questions but I think I know some people in the audience, especially like Dr. Bick, who's part of the Vietnam Forest Certification Office. He's going to be saying, when can I come to Germany or to Finland to come and understand it deeply? And we do have more information, obviously, than 15 minutes we could lock into a PowerPoint, and we're willing to share all this information. And it might be like what we saw last week, the start of there's some twinning between the Thailand and the Spanish national sort of governing bodies. We might see Dr. Bick, if you can catch up with Tatu or some of his MTK certification coordinators, and then you can look at how to do such large-scale smallholder certification. So yes, it's and the comment there from Tatu about the data, and so yes, it's in Vietnam they even had a very big Finnish funded donor mapping, yeah, so mapping forest management information system set up, and so I think that data is going to help a lot in Vietnam in the future as things scale up. And then also I know Dirk, the GIZ and KfW, the German development banks, are very active in Vietnam, and so maybe it would be good to share some stories about what their priorities are, and maybe how we do learn from some Finnish, some German forest associations do come across and teach in Vietnam, but we might try to take it to a higher level now that Vietnam has grown a lot in the last 2 years. So yes, it would be great for you to give us any feedback, any ideas. I can't promise where the next group certification field dialogue is going to be, but hopefully we can announce it in the next couple of months, and sometime next year. And we also see that there's a need from our members for more information on group certification. So this might be a teaser for some people, and we can talk about the platforms and how the different organizations work together to provide data and reduce the external certification costs by having these internal monitoring systems. This is what the group certification standard was built for. And so with that, I think I would like to close, unless anyone would have a last comment. Oh, well, we just went 10 minutes over time, and I'm surprised. And I really appreciate Dirk, Tatu, and your team that supported in preparing, Dr. Bick, and all my colleagues at PEFC International have supported to make this webinar series come true. And we will hopefully see that it's not just a a sexy word around Southeast Asia, where it's regional jurisdictional approaches, but actually we can say here's a real life example of how we do it, and we learn from the regional approaches of Spain, Germany, and Finland. So, thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.